Some of you know me. I'm Don Rogers. Some of you know me for the 912 project here in town and some of the other things that we've done. One of the things that we started 5 years ago when we started looking at politics in Paso County and around Colorado is we started at zero, and everybody had to earn our trust. And over that time, we found that we are blessed in El Paso County to have many politicians who earn our trust. One of those is Peggy Littleton. Over that time, I've been able to look at her record, and if you honestly look at it, her votes are what would be in line with most of us in this room, and those we don't agree with were made on principle. So it's my great honor to nominate Peggy Littleton for CD5. Thank you.
Are there further nominations for County Commissioner? Sorry. Oh, I need a second for Peggy Littleton. Are there further nominations? There are no further nominations. The chair declares that nominations are closed. The candidate will have a time to address the assembly.
Thank you so much. I am Peggy Littleton, and I am humbled and honored to accept the challenge. I thank Don Rogers for the nomination and for you to want to second my nomination. Thank you so much. I wanted to introduce you today to some very special people in my life that have made this possible, that really work hard for me. And I want you to meet, first of all, the Betts family. This is Dr. Ryan Betts and my daughter, Brittany Betts, and my very first and only most wonderful grandchild in the whole world, Tate. But I also wanted to introduce you to someone that's very special to me, and that's my father. My dad is 84 years old and went to his very first caucus to be able to come and vote for me here at the Assembly. So, Maurice King. Well, I'm asking you today to renew my contract for my second and final term, because I believe in term limits, to represent you at the El Paso County Board of Commissioners for District 5. I'm a public servant. I'm not a career politician. I promise you that I will never run for public office unless God calls me. For those of you who know me, I make just one promise. I will continue to do exactly what I've done. Keep my word and back it up. For those of you that don't yet know me, I promise you two things. I'm going to keep my word, and I'm going to back it up. For instance, when the National Defense Authorization Act was passed, I considered it an affront and a danger to our liberties. I helped draft a resolution opposing the NDAA to continue to work to oppose it right now. Because one of our most fundamental rights as citizens is to be free from unreasonable detention and have due process of law. We must fight for our sovereign freedom. That's gifted to us as an unalienable, not unalienable, but unalienable right by God. That's afforded to us by our founding fathers in the Constitution, and that's guaranteed to us by over 2 centuries of sacrifice by our men and our women in the armed services who have daily forfeited and recognized the honor to serve. If you're here and you have served in the armed forces, are currently serving, or have a family member who does, please raise your hand. Let's give all those applause. When the President began to infringe upon our Second Amendment rights, I took affront to that, and I helped draft and pass, with the help of my colleagues, a resolution opposing those actions. When our state legislature, Janice, you know this, began opposing those Second Amendment rights and the opportunity for us to keep and bear arms, I stood up and I helped with the recall effort. I made sure we got Bernie Herpin in. Is Bernie still here? I think he is somewhere off in the hallways. I want to let you know that with sweat equity that I'm going to invest along with the people, we are going to keep Senate District 11, We are going to work with Michael Sherlock, stand up Michael, in House District 18. We are going to work with Tiffany Kay in House District 17. Because not only are we going to keep Senate 11, we are going to win back 17 and 18 together as we knock, walk, and talk and put in that sweat equity to earn those back. Like you, I invest my time, my talent, and my treasure to promote liberty and to reduce government. I will continue to try to motivate and educate and work with a new sheriff and keep beating the drum on the need for personal preparedness. In addition to the regular duties of my office that you all have on the card I gave out to you as you walked in today, showing what some of my regular duties are, I'm going to focus, and I'm called to focus on emergency preparedness. We all know firsthand the devastating effects of the fires and floods in our region. We know that it's not going to be if we have another flood or disaster or catastrophe. We just wonder when. But we must be ready to be a resilient community. I believe El Paso County is going to be chosen to be a county that's ready, unlike much of the United States and unlike the state of Colorado. Upon leaving today, each one of you are going to receive a red sheet. That's what I call our yo-yo sheet. You're on your own. It's going to give you direction on how to begin preparing, how to do your 72-hour kit, and how to become personally prepared. Because I believe it's our responsibility as citizens and not the responsibility of the government to be there. Now, many of you have wondered where I stand on City of Champions. I get asked all the time, every day. I'm deliberately taking time to get all of my questions answered before taking a position, just like my colleague Daryl right here. We stand together in that. That is one more promise that's fulfilled. I promised you last time when I ran that I would never take a position ahead of having all the facts, ahead of having done all of the research to make a well-informed decision, and I'm going to continue in that promise. When I have the facts, I'll let you know, because that's my job so that you can go do yours. And now, you know where I stand on some of the key issues. You know from these, you can surmise just where I'm going to stand on others. And that with no doubt, during the next 4 years, as issues arise, you're going to know that I'm going to be a fiscal and social conservative, that I'm going to fight for our constitutional rights, that I have a voting record as being a voice for all the people. With me, there are no surprises, no disappointments, no funny business, because what you see is what you get. To those of you who support me, you know where I stand. To those of you who are here that don't support me, you still know where I stand. And for those of you who aren't sure if you support me yet or not, you know where I stand. I'm Peggy Littleton. What you see is what you get. Thank you.
It is now 2:59, 15 minutes after the beginning of the meeting, so credentialing has now closed.